Greetings and salutations, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Game Break. I am Charles, coming to you today with another episode of Everlasting Summer. Because summer never ends, especially in this game. We started day 6 and met ourselves, maybe? I don't know. I don't know who this new character is, but he is creepy, and not just because I gave him a weird voice, because I didn't know what to do with him. He definitely knows something, but I don't know what. And hopefully he'll pop up again and explain things, give us some ideas, but I know last time we left off at the beach, and one of the girls was trying to talk to us. I think it was Ulyana, maybe? Possibly. Hey, let's go find out. And try and figure out some answers before the end of this game, because this is getting silly. Why so sad? I'm not sad. Well, why are you here sitting all alone? Just thinking. About what? I decided to spare her my story about the mysterious pioneer. Well, imagine that you are chatting with a weird person. You're setting yourself up, and you have to figure out what exactly is so weird about them. Simple. I would just ask them. Huh? She laughed. Too simple. But he won't answer. How do you know? Have you tried asking? No, but it's obvious. Ulyana did not answer, just sat down next to me and let out a tired sigh. I'm all swimmed out. And what if they know something, but won't tell you? Make them! But how? For a bit longer we sat together, talking about random things, and then I got up, said goodbye, and went away. It's time to find the mysterious stranger and get all the answers. Yay! Oh wow, all the way out front. The first place to visit was the bus stop. After all, this is where it all began. The road was empty, as always. Only small dust tornadoes were occasionally visible on it. I was ready to turn around and go back to the camp, but then I heard someone whisper. Don't trust him. The fuck? Someone was hiding behind the monument. A pioneer was sitting there with his back to me. And once again, the voice seemed strangely familiar. Who are you? I took a few steps towards him. Stop. Don't come any closer. For some reason, I froze in my tracks. From somewhere deep inside, an assurance came to me, and I understood that I shouldn't argue with him. All right, I'll stay here. Have you seen him? Talked to him? He asked nervously. Who are you even talking about? He was dressed in a pioneer uniform. You know who. And I definitely did know. He was talking about the weird pioneer I saw earlier. Yes, I answered after a few moments of silence. What did he tell you? The pioneer asked in a pleading tone. Nothing, really.
Did he give you advice? Did he tell you what to do? Threaten you?
No, nothing like that. Of course, he seemed pretty weird, but nothing more than that.
Remember, he may not be alone. Or more likely, he is alone, but you may meet many pioneers here who look like him.
What? And what about you? Who are you? Who are you hiding from?
You will understand. In time. Just remember, the most important thing is to find the exit.
I swear if this is a coma dream, I am not going to be happy. No. Do not take this route. All of a sudden, a strong gust of wind came through, ripping leaves from the trees and throwing an old paper bag into my face. Shielding myself, I averted my eyes. When I looked back at the monument, the pioneer was already gone. At that moment, I was overwhelmed by fear. Real, almost tangible fear. I remember being scared during my first hours at this camp. But back then, everything around me seemed kind and friendly. Now, Sovyonok revealed its fangs, getting ready to eat me. And ahead, the unknown. My body was covered in goosebumps, my throat was dry and my hands were shaking. I tried to ignore it all and headed back to camp. It was already dinner time, but I had no desire to go to the canteen. After meeting the second mysterious pioneer, just thinking about the locals made me, if not afraid, then at least creeped out. I don't even know who or what they all are. And even though nothing had happened yet, does not mean I can trust them. Alright, so we're at least starting to get back into day one type of mindset of something really isn't right here. I stopped in front of the clubhouse, but then realized that this is not the best spot to be at. I could run into someone, which was not something I wanted to do at the moment. Almost running, I hurried towards the forest and walked a few meters along the path before finally stopping. On one side, the mysterious pioneer. Well, 2 of them, to be precise. On the other, all the other inhabitants of this camp who seemed absolutely normal. Either way, my decision to stand back and let everything resolve itself was under some serious pressure. At this point, it was clear to me. I had to do something on my own. But what exactly? Everyone is probably having a dinner, so I have a good chance to make it to Olga's place without being noticed. I decided to first take my clothes that I wore when I arrived here, along with my cell phone. I won't be able to come up with a solid plan right off the bat, so for the time being, I might as well hide in the forest. I leapt up the steps and entered the building. My clothes were right where I left them, and my phone was where it was supposed to be, under my pillow. I quickly grabbed it and was ready to stuff it into my pocket, but then I noticed something on the screen. The message window was open. The text read, "You're wrong, Semyon. You are so wrong. It felt like my soul had left my body. I froze on the spot. I was shaking, and my blood was pumping so hard it felt like my skull was going to burst open from the pressure. It took at least a full minute for me to come back to my senses. Olga could have typed in the message, or one of the pioneers. It's easy to figure out how to do it, even if they are not familiar with this technology. But no one besides me should know where I keep the phone. This event was the straw that broke the camel's back. I rushed out of the house, determined never to come back here. Are we going to pull a shirk? Night fell on the campgrounds. I had been sitting in the woods for a few hours, trembling at every noise. The spot that I chose was far away from the path, so it would be hard to find me. I was keeping a few plans in my head for the time being. To try and run, to kill every single person in the camp. This escalated quickly. However, on the other hand, one thought chased me, and I realized that I shouldn't behave like this because of some strange pioneer, or even because of that message on the phone. All of this was reinforcing the thought that everything happening here was far from normal. However, there was no proof that anyone in the camp had anything to do with it. I could have stayed here until morning, lost in my own thoughts, but I heard footsteps coming from somewhere nearby.
Oh, hey, it's one of you people. So you decided to escape after all.
I turned around but couldn't see the pioneer's face in the dark, of course. Nevertheless, I was pretty sure that it was him. I wasn't afraid then. More precisely, I was so physically exhausted that I was prepared for any possible course of events and somehow managed to reason appropriately and to maintain the conversation. I wouldn't call this an escape. I answered slowly, stretching every word.
Huh? Then what is it?
A tactical retreat.
Brilliant.
He burst into laughter. That is a very creepy smile. I do not like that smile. Listen, why don't you tell me what's going on? Who are you, and what do you want from me?
What did that guy tell you at the gate?
It seemed that he didn't even hear my question. He told me not to trust you. I lied. Oh, did I misread that? But on the other hand, I thought that it was what he meant.
Well, that's always the way for him. Running away, hiding.
I could hear irritation in his voice. I'm not sure what kind of circus you're running here, but I'm not going to be a part of it.
Oh, why not? You're the star, after all.
I couldn't see his face, but I bet he was smiling. Explain my part to me then.
Yeah, what's my motivation here? You know, I was like you in the beginning. The first time, everything went peacefully. Then, I escaped. I tried to understand what was going on. Got mad, and even tortured them to get the truth.
He laughed crazily. I shivered.
But it was pointless,
continued the pioneer after calming down a bit.
Pointless. And then I began to notice the lapses. At first, I just heard their voices from a distance and sometimes in my head. Then vague silhouettes appeared. Then they slowly took on physical form. And finally, they stepped into my world. I could touch them, introduce them to other pioneers. And they all were different. Different. Do you get it? Different.
He started shouting.
And it recurred again and again. You can get used to the loops, but then I learned how to get into their worlds by myself, to interact with the others. But it turned out that I'm not alone. There are lots of us. Today, you saw at least one more.
He fell silent. I didn't know what question to ask and didn't want to interrupt his story, so I simply waited. After a minute, he continued.
It's not that simple, of course. And it's not always possible. Only under certain circumstances. When you feel strong emotions, for example.
I instantly remembered how I saw him the first time, the time when I didn't feel any emotions at all.
Including the moments when you feel happy.
As if he was reading my thoughts. I see. So, you're trying to say that there are several parallel worlds including the same camp with its inhabitants, where I am replaced by you or that guy I met at the bus stop? That's what he's insinuating?
Yeah, something like that.
His answer didn't surprise me at all. In the end, it's clear that whatever happens here is beyond the limits of human understanding, and this theory didn't even seem all that unusual. But you've said that everything recurs.
Yes, it recurs.
And what will happen afterwards?
You'll start from the very beginning. You'll wake in the bus, come to the camp, meet Olga, the girls, Electronique.
But if it happened to you, then why should it happen to me as well?
It happens to everyone.
Once again, he laughed hysterically. And how many loops have you experienced so far?
I stopped counting them already. At first, I tried to remember them, though. Maybe a few hundred.
No wonder. It was very clear to me that this guy was suffering from a progressing mental dysfunction. But you searched for a way out, didn't you? He didn't answer. That's what the guy at the bus stop was talking about.
Because he understands nothing, damn it.
He shouted.
Because he's just like you, constantly running away, hiding.
What would you suggest then?
If I had any suggestions, I wouldn't be standing here talking to you.
Alright, but you were trying, weren't you?
Are you trying to understand what I know, since I've been around here for such a long time?
He asked cheerfully. Well, that's evident.
Yes, I did try to run away from here. There.
He waved towards the forest.
Is nothing there. Nothing but trees. When I had been walking there for several days and finally passed out, I found myself in the bus again. Same for walking along the road. It's endless. Talking to somebody about that is pointless. You probably already understood that by yourself.
I did. I interjected.
Even if you try to explain your situation directly, at best, you'd just be considered an idiot.
What if you try to not leave the bus?
It's pointless. Sooner or later, you'll be found. I even tried to spend the entire time there. In the end, I fell asleep, and everything started from the beginning.
And what if you start it by yourself and leave?
No keys. And I don't have any carjacking skills.
A cursed cycle.
Exactly.
A long silence fell. Finally, I asked, and what about the people around here? Don't they raise absolutely reasonable suspicions?
Suspicions.
Laughter again.
The only thing that is suspicious about them is that no matter how much you tell them, they stare at you with their eyes out on stalks. The people. I feared them at first, too. Then I used them for different experiments. And now I don't consider them humans. They're all dolls. Puppets. You can easily predict any reaction, any word or action.
So they aren't worth fearing, are they?
The one worth fearing is yourself,
he said softly.
Do you know how funny it is when human bones crack as they slowly break from distension?
Looks like he has finally lost his marbles. Listen, I understand everything, but...
The other one thinks that's a bit much too. But it doesn't matter. Nobody but you is real here.
The pioneer suddenly fell silent. Well, no, I don't agree with you.
You're probably thinking why I didn't check this all by myself, aren't you? Why I didn't try to reach the nearest village or town.
Yes, I did have such thoughts.
Why wasn't I suspicious? Why was I doing different stuff instead of searching for answers?
Well, yes.
Forget about it. That's normal. We all behave like this for the first time here. But how many others have you seen so far?
Oh, was that other one me? Sorry.
Not that many.
The pioneer was lost in thought.
About 10 people, maybe. But I'm sure there's many more of them.
And is everyone like this?
In fact, yes. Only the details are different. But the main thing is invariable. There's no way out of here. And, by the way, you're just like the majority of them. The only thing that differs is that you have heard everything from me instead of experiencing it for yourself.
I don't know if I should thank him for that. Well, what now?
Nothing,
he said shortly. Why would you blink? I closed my eyes and lost myself in thought. That was a critical mistake. Let me guess, he's gone. He's gone. When I opened the eyes, I didn't see anybody, just like the previous time. So, it's clear what's going on now. Is it really? Do you fully understand what's going on now? All of a sudden, this cleared up everything. You know all the answers now. But, in fact, how could everything he said guide me to an answer? Yes, I'm not alone. Yes, everything recurs. But, what's the reason for all this? And, what is more important, where is the way out? The only useful thing that I extracted from the conversation was that the local inhabitants were not worth fearing. And that was quite significant to me for now, since it was much better to sleep in a warm cabin instead of the forest. I sighed, took my things, and headed towards the camp. As I was walking, the conversation with my fellow sufferer popped up in my mind every now and then. Why did I not ask him about the message on my phone? And some other stuff. There were hints, after all. Maybe if I had found some details out, I could have drawn some conclusions. However, it didn't seem like our meeting would be the last one. The lights were on in Olga's cabin. I opened the door gently and went in.
Speak of the devil, here you are,
the camp leader said angrily. Olga, I'm so tired now, so let's put off the lecture.
Tired from what, I wonder?
From everything, I snapped rudely. The camp leader looked at me with surprise. I fell into bed without undressing.
Semyon, a role model pioneer shouldn't behave like that.
And how should he behave then?
Well, not like that.
The camp leader stumbled for a moment, as if struggling to pick the right words.
He should respect his seniors.
I respect you immensely. For sure.
Semyon!
The sarcasm in my voice didn't go unnoticed. And now, I'd like to sleep.
Wait,
By the way, how far is the nearest town? When does the bus arrive? How can I even get out of here? I asked in a surprisingly calm voice. there was no answer, and there shouldn't have been any. I said all this just in order to get rid of her. Why are you silent?
I'm tired. Let's talk about this tomorrow.
The camp leader got up and turned off the light. Yes, it's all just like that guy said. Why did I speak to him so calmly and properly, I wonder? I should have been shivering from horror. That pioneer didn't have much credibility, but I had a feeling that he's unable to harm me. And as soon as I thought that it would be a good idea to ask someone else, fatigue overtook me and I passed out. Oh wow, so 2 episodes to get through day 6. And we're going to cut things there, and you're going to have to wait until next time to see just what day 7 has in store for us. But considering all that day 6 threw at us, even though we just powered through it in an hour or so between 2 episodes, so based off of this day, we are not necessarily in a coma dream. This isn't time travel. Well, time travel seems to be involved in some way, shape, or form, but we're stuck in a temporal loop with several parallel universes with similar versions of ourselves that can potentially slide between the universes and say hello to their fellow selves. And so the first one we met is psychotic. The second one we met is just terrified and wimpy. And then there's us so far. But this, alright, so this helps potentially solve some of the problems of this story as to why we can't seem to get any answers from anyone and why we just woke up on a bus and everything seems to just be comparatively normal. It does not answer the questions of who are these people. Are they also going through loops and they're just not aware of it? Are they aware of it and have just become so resigned that they're trying to make this normal? Day 7 still has a lot of things to answer for. But we didn't really get anything from the side characters at all in day 6. It was all progression of Semyon. And he took a fair portion of this in stride. But then again, if you're talking to yourself, I guess you just take it for granted that your other self is telling the truth. Even if one self says don't trust your other self, this is complicated. We're going to have to wait until next time, though, to find out what the frig is going on in this camp, and why is it going on, and why are we looping? And can we do anything about this? Can we break the cycle? Can we check out some of the other universes? Smack ourselves upside the head? We'll see. But until next time, thank you for joining me. I hope you've been having fun with this series so far. And until next time, go play some games of your own. Go have some fun. Go be creative.